You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonati and your host, Kimberly Brumell.
Thank you for tuning in to listen to American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Brumell, joined by Ethan Euchre.
Glad to be here.
And we have world-renowned orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Alfred Bonati of the Bonati Spine Institute.
I'm here too.
Yes, you are.
You know, what if we told you that there was a place that could bring 98.75% patient-reported success? Would you even believe that's true in spine surgery?
I would say, get out of here, Kimberly.
Now, with traditional spine surgery, exactly. Traditional spine surgery, if there's fusions, one level has 65% failure. If you have to have 2 or 3 spinal fusions, that number skyrockets to 85% failure.
And that happens a lot, actually. The first one doesn't work because
Yeah.
it's just really not a good
Correct.
procedure to begin with.
Correct.
So
And
then
then
you have to have more than one.
Right.
And the
and
failure
then
rate
those
skyrockets.
problems compound because now you're fused. And when you're fused like that, then you have a trouble with motion. And instead of being able to go like this and turning your head from side to side, you have to turn upper body.
Mm-hmm.
And that is detrimental to one's health.
Absolutely.
So there is an option. If you've been to multiple doctors where they tell you there's nothing that can be done, you need to live your life on pain meds, that isn't true. Check out the Bonati Spine Institute at Bonati.com or call 855-267-0483. Now, we have an exciting show. We have Will Rossellini from Nuvient Medical.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And he is going to talk about some really cool stuff. And then we have Julia Shopick. And then, of course, we'll hear an update on
the GOP debate.
And I just get tongue-tied because I'm flabbergasted with how that whole thing went down. But, that's a whole other
Lots
story.
of good stuff to
but
talk
up
about.
first...
In today's Back to Life segment, we will talk to a patient of the Bonati Spine Institute who went from living a life that was restricted by pain and discomfort through their journey of finding the Bonati Spine Institute and are now living pain-free.
Well, it is my pleasure to introduce to the program from Tarpon Springs, Florida, Mark Saylor. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Why don't you tell us what your job is and how you came to be in pain?
I am an executive chef, so I'm on my feet a lot of times, probably about 10 hours a day.
Okay.
For me, I think it was a culmination of the job that I do and an active exercising sports life, I guess. The pain came on probably about 4 or 5 years ago,
All right.
and I'm not too sure what brought it on. I just at the time I was thinking it was maybe from just playing too much, but it was a little bit of degenerative disc as well.
Now, why did you wait so long? Because it seems like quite a few years gap. Was there any reason that you didn't seek out treatment sooner?
For me, it was just the pain, the fear of having back surgery, I guess.
Okay.
So I had tried taking every kind of pain pill there was, and it gets old. End up taking quite a few of them, and just to get through a night of sleep, even, and
Right.
It gets to the point we just give in.
Well, nobody wants to go down that path either.
Exactly.
Once you start taking those pills, next thing you know, you're hooked. I think a lot of it, too, happens to be gender specific. It's as a man, you tend to think,
I'll get by
I
it.
can live. Suck it up, buttercup. I can live through this. And the fact that, like you said, you don't want to have to go to see doctors. I think
Right.
we're just inherently afraid to go to the doctor and be told that something's majorly wrong.
Let me ask, did you try chiropractic care?
I did chiropractic.
Okay.
I did yoga. I did physical therapy. I did massage. I would try to make daily trips to get to a hot tub to try and feel better. All the stuff pretty much just gives you a day of relief, if not less. So it was kind of a end choice for me to do it, and I'm just glad I did.
Dr. Bonati is motioning to me. Did you get any type of shots? Did they try to give you any, like, epidurals or pain blocks, anything like that?
None for the stuff that I had tried at the time.
Okay.
At all.
All right.
A lot of the family doctors and physicians I had gone to just
Sure.
try to do physical therapy and do try to do stretching exercises and that surgery is the last thing they try to get you to do.
Right. Describe that pain for people that are listening. How was it affecting your life? Was it a localized pain? Was it a shooting, a stabbing pain?
For me, it was it just felt like a knife right in the lower back, and it was just stuck there. And walking, standing, sleeping, it was always there, and there was no amount of twisting or turning that you could do to make that pain go away. So it was, my life was hunched over a shopping cart, going through the stores to shop, and this is the only relief I could get was bending over, and
wow,
it was terrible.
Wow, I bet.
Taking a shower, I'd be sitting on the floor or kneeling down, or just make it a quick 60-second shower because the pain would hurt from standing up.
I would have to think that would take its toll on a marriage after a while.
One would think.
Yeah, it was stressful for us. It was definitely. She would tell everyone I was really moody and grumpy and never would want to do anything, and it was just it was getting there. So it was to the point when I knew I had to do something.
So when you got to that point, what did you do? Was Bonati your first stop? How did that work for you?
My first stop was actually Laser Spine Institute, which happened to be on the way to where I was working at the time,
sure.
And I'd stopped in there, and it wasn't as personable as it was at Bonati, for sure. Everyone was very friendly and was wanting to hear what was happening. And but when I'd gone there, I'd ran through the insurance, and they were reluctant to take pretty much any insurance. And what they had said at the time was I'd had to come up with $9,000 to do the surgery, and which I just thought was crazy. So I said I'm going to live with the pain, and I'd started seeing the Bonati commercials on TV, and I ended up going up there to Hudson and figured I'd check that out instead.
Okay, and what was it like when you came in?
Very friendly, greeted warmly, and they took to me right away and did the X-rays and did an MRI right away, and went over the insurance. They took everything, all but the deductible.
Right.
And it was great. It was friendly from the beginning to the end.
Okay. Did you talk to the doctors at the Bonati Spine Institute?
Yeah, I had actually Dr. Bonati called within an hour or two of the MRI results, and without having met him at first, he was able to tell me exactly where my pain was from the MRI.
All right.
And that impressed me, knowing that going into that, I didn't have that worry of, are they going to get the right nerve? Are they going to get the right thing fixed?
Can I ask one question? Talking about the place that you had visited previous, did you get to meet their doctors?
I had never met the doctors, no. It was all front office staff.
Oh, okay. Okay, so that was different. When you came into Bonati, after you spoke to Dr. Bonati, you had an in-person evaluation. How did that go? What was that experience like?
It was another, very friendly and very informative.
Okay.
Just made you feel like it wasn't going to be a big deal to get it done, and it wasn't.
So, but you felt like they knew where your pain was?
Yeah, exactly where the pain was, and that I wasn't, an only one, that it's probably been done thousands of times there before, and that it was going to be a simple surgery.
Well, he is the creator of the procedure, and anyone else on the market kind of tries to jump on coattails, but unfortunately, they're not able to replicate what he does with the success.
For them.
For them, yeah.
Well, so Mark, that must have been really comforting to know that
you were in the right place.
Especially to hear that it's essentially a routine procedure, that it's something that's that they've seen many, many times, that your problem was, and it was going to be an easy fix. It must have made you feel nice.
Yeah, it definitely did. You start seeing, there's more and more athletes that you hear getting it done with, Tony Romo and Tiger Woods, and
sure.
It may seem like it's just, pretty simple surgery, and that kind of helped too, knowing, be doing the things that I love doing and enjoy doing, which I am doing now. So better than I had ever played. So
nice.
Well, tell us, how are you feeling now?
Fantastic. I mean, I tell everyone I got a smile on my face every day, and it's just nice to take the walks at night, and I'm playing softball again, and just no pain at all. It's nice to take a car ride and get out of your car and not be like aching in pain to until you get warmed up and get moving again.
Okay, have to ask, from the time you had surgery to the time you went back to work, how long did it take?
I was, I could have gone back to work, honestly, within 3 to 4 days.
Sure.
I was back to work actually in 1 week,
Okay.
and I felt like I could at that point have done anything, but I was under the restrictions to not lift.
Right.
And then within 2 to 3 weeks, you feel just 100%. You feel better than ever, and obviously still with some weight restrictions, lifting and stuff.
Correct.
But the recovery time's amazing. It's great, and at this point, you can't even see us. There's no scar. You can't even tell that it was even done.
See, so going from living with debilitating pain for 3 to 4 years to making what you would say is a full recovery?
100%. Yeah. I mean, my only regrets, I wasted 3-4 years not getting it done.
Yeah, we hear that a lot. And Mark, how's your marriage? Does your wife still think you're a pain in the butt and tell everybody you're grumpy?
Yeah, she's really happy. We do our walks every night, and she's
happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, I'm back to playing sports, and I don't complain about it after, and
Nice.
It's been great. So.
All right, good to hear.
Well, thank you for sharing your story with us, and we love the photo of you and your wife that's on the screen as you're talking.
Nice.
Thank you.
So continued good health. Thank you
Thanks,
for being
Mark.
on the
Super.
program.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Another success story. If you or someone you know is suffering with debilitating spine pain, they can reach out to Bonati at Bonati.com or call 855-267-0483. Coming up after the break, Will Rossellini from Nuvient Medical talking about a really awesome post-traumatic stress disorder treatment. Make sure you stay tuned. You're listening to American Medicine Today. Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years, and it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results, no pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now, I can garden, I can cook, and I'm really thrilled. The outcome's been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Once again, Here are Dr. Bonatti and your host, Kimberly Brumell.
Thank you for joining us on American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Brumell, joined by Ethan Euchre.
Glad to be here.
And world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. Alfred Bonatti of the Bonatti Spine Institute. Joining us on the line is Will Rossellini, a neurotechnology expert and CEO of Nuvient Medical, a company which is developing cutting-edge technology to treat post-traumatic stress disorder and other afflictions. So thank you for being here, Will.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Will has actually been on the show before,
Yes.
and his company does some crazy, interesting, intricate work with brains. In the latest, Will, I just saw an interesting article about how the military is building a cybernetic implant with electrodes extending into the brain to treat PTSD in soldiers and veterans. We need you to explain what this is all about. It's very interesting.
Yeah, so the research arm of the military, DARPA, funded one of the first companies I founded, Microtransponder, to explore how PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress syndrome, manifests in soldiers, and then ultimately if there was a way to correct that disorder. What scientists at the University of Texas at Dallas and Microtransponder have shown in a number of clinical studies is that if you apply a little burst of electricity on a nerve in the neck called the vagus nerve, you cause the brain to open up a window of plasticity, and you become essentially a super learner. You can pay attention, your brain is alive with growing new connections, and if you do this burst of electricity at the right time, you learn really quick. In the case of PTSD, you're able to unlearn bad memories. And so in effect, what you're doing is erasing the fear memory.
Wow.
And so the grant is designed to essentially have a soldier that has a bad memory, a PTSD event from Iraq or Afghanistan. The idea would be they'd be placed into a virtual reality environment. They'd make the scene as real as possible. And brief bursts of electricity from the vagus nerve would allow the brain to heal itself by unlearning the bad in memory.
That's fascinating. And now I was also reading that there's one where they can actually put a skull, like a skull cap on with electrodes on it. But then what you're talking about, which is even more, I guess, intrusive, are actual implants down into the brain because it has a lot more access and it's a lot more accurate than the like EEG is, correct?
Yeah, in this case, it's about a 75-minute procedure, and you're getting about a small incision in the neck, and then you're getting what looks like a pacemaker type device in your chest, and so it doesn't get into your brain at all. So it's been, I think, close to 100,000 patients have been implanted like this, and so it's a very safe procedure for a full implant. The difficulty with the external devices is you just really can't get resolution to do stimulation or recording. And so while they're non-invasive, they also haven't been shown to work very well.
Okay, well, let's face it, this sounds all very sci-fi-esque. I mean, could something like this be used for mind control?
Conspiracy theorists, are going to say that.
And you're messing with the brain. Do they ever run into complications with this?
I get that all the time. So there's a couple of ways to answer it. The first way is enhancing biology is very difficult. So the body is healthy in a balanced state.
Right.
So what we're doing here is more about returning balance to some of these circuits in the brain and less about creating some kind of manipulation of memory. So we're really messing with the wetware and creating a different brain structure so that the brain can ultimately get out of this cycle of reliving the memory and then not having the tools to get out of that fear state. So in terms of mind control, there have been all kinds of experiments to show that if you put electrical current in the brain, you can cause the arm to move, you can cause legs to spasm, you can cause all kinds of different things. In fact, my new company, Nuvient Medical, has a device that you insert into the brain, into the area called globus pallidus. And when you turn on that device, you're able to stop the body from shaking. And that's critically important in patients that have Parkinsonian disease.
Right.
So we're able to stop their movement disorder and their tremor by putting a device in an area that's known to control the tremor.
Does that differ from people that suffer from full-fledged seizures?
Like epilepsy?
Yeah.
So there's a company called NeuroPace. I'm not involved with this company, but they have a brain implant that allows them to both record when the seizure is happening up to an hour in advance, and then turn on the electricity to prevent a seizure. And so this is FDA approved and currently being implanted in patients. There's also a company that is making this vagus nerve device that I just described, and in doing that, you're able to prevent epilepsy, prevent seizures. So there's a lot of activity. You know, these companies are 20 years old.
Right.
So there's been hundreds of thousands of patients implanted this way.
I need to ask you, because you've been part of this technology breakthrough for quite some time with every different invention that your company has been working on, but how long has this been in the process, and are we looking to make this technology commonplace?
Widely
for
available?
Right.
Yeah, so I tell people that the Greeks were stepping on eels 2,000 years ago for foot pain. So we've known for a long time that electricity does some interesting things to the human body. In the 1950s, there were a number of fundamental advances on how we stimulate the human heart, and that ultimately become pacemaker technologies that have been in over 1 million patients.
Right.
We have cochlear implants that communicate with electricity to the auditory system, deep brain implants, spinal cord stimulators for pain. And so what you're seeing, in my opinion, is the very first minute of the very first day of us turning into a more electrically or biologically combined with these machines. And the reason why is our cell phone technology keeps getting better and better. And that technology is going to get small enough to where integration with our bodies are going to be more commonplace. Right now, the real trick is trying to understand what the language of the nervous system is so we can rewrite that language to prevent disease.
All right. But are we still years away from this becoming available?
I think that right now you're having hundreds of thousands of people implanted like this a year if you add up pacemakers and all the neurostimulation devices. But what's happened in the last couple of years is a big company, GlaxoSmithKline, has said this is the future of pharmaceutical companies.
Right.
So instead of drug development, you're moving into what they call digital medicine or bioelectronics, such that you put tiny devices in to alter the chemistry versus the drug.
Now, I know the military is behind building these brain chips, but is this something that they're utilizing immediately on military veterans or current people serving? I guess that's what I'm trying to get at. Is that something that's available now or something that still has years to come?
The current project for PTSD is still in clinical testing.
Okay.
The software program, the virtual reality immersion program called BraveMind, which was developed by Skip Rizzo, has been installed at about 60 clinics, and it's had really nice results for those soldiers. So DARPA really has a mission to help its returning veterans to get better, and a lot of them are coming back now with soft tissue injuries. So they're not dying in an explosion because they have good armor, but they come back with a lot of other injuries that we haven't seen a lot of before. Tinnitus, PTSD, traumatic brain injury because of the soft tissue trauma.
Fascinating technology. Will Rossellini, a neurotechnology expert and CEO of Nuvient Medical, company which is developing cutting-edge technology to treat post-traumatic stress disorder and many other afflictions. Thank you for sharing your technology with us, sir.
Thanks, Will.
Thanks for the time, guys.
Take care.
Crazy
I
stuff.
love talking with him. It's so sci-fi-esque.
Yeah.
And
Man becoming machine. And
I know.
I love that kind of stuff.
Me too. Well, make sure you stay tuned because up next, Julia
Shopik.
All right. Going to talk a little bit about honest medicine. Stay tuned. You too can find out what it is.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years. And it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results. No pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already, I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now. I can garden. I can cook. And I'm really thrilled. The outcome's been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact, I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonati and your host, Kimberly Brumell.
Thank you for joining us on American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Brumell, joined by Ethan Euchre.
Happy to be here.
And world-renowned orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Alfred Bonati of the Bonati Spine Institute.
Hello.
Now, March is National Autoimmune Disease Awareness Month, and joining us to talk about it is Julia Shopik, award-winning blogger on healthcare and healing and author of best-selling book Honest Medicine, Effective, Time-Tested, Inexpensive Treatments for Life-Threatening Diseases. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you for having me, Kimberly. What a nice introduction. I appreciate it.
Well, and it's all true, too. None of it was made up.
You're absolutely right.
Now, Julia, I actually spent quite a bit of time talking to you off the air when we arranged this, and you have a very personal story that ties in with this topic, if you wouldn't mind sharing with us.
You know, I do. It actually ties in more, Ethan, with my becoming a patient advocate, and I'll briefly tell it, but then we can get to National Autoimmune Disease Month, like Kimberly mentioned in the beginning.
Sure.
But I was not a patient advocate at first until as a matter of fact, my dad was a doctor, and Dr. Bonati, you'll love this. My dad used to say, stay away from the medical profession, you know.
I recommend that too.
You believe that too, right?
Absolutely.
I know, because I've heard some of your shows, Dr. Bonati. I appreciate it. Anyway, my dad said, stay away. So I did until in 1990 my husband was diagnosed. We were only married. He was 40 years old. We've been married for 5 years. Wow. And he was diagnosed with a glioblastoma. An astrocytoma 3. It's one grade below a glioblastoma.
And what is that?
And very serious. And his doctors said he had 18 months to 3 years to live. And I will fast forward to tell you that at first I was panicked. You know, I did nothing. We did just what the doctor said, surgery, chemo, radiation. Right. And then I began to see that he developed every side effect you could get, especially from the radiation, which I now call the gift that keeps on giving, because it made his skin more and more fragile over the years until when he had a recurrence finally 10 years later, his skin wouldn't heal. And that's when I found a treatment through an integrative doctor that actually healed his skin. and it was called Silverlawn, and it's pieces of material with silver ions. And that's when I realized the doctors were not at all interested in learning about this treatment that I had found, even though it was FDA approved.
Is this colloidal silver?
No, Kimberly, a good question. No,
Okay.
but it is based, as you're hinting at, on the same principle, because silver has been for many years. As a matter of fact, before antibiotics were invented, it was used repeatedly, always at Johns Hopkins and other big university settings.
Right.
But this is pieces of material impregnated with silver ions, and an amazing product. By the way, I get not one dime from the company.
No, I bet you don't, but it's amazing. And I don't know what you've run into, but years ago, my grandfather had a very bad bout of MRSA, and he had these huge sores. And at first, the doctors were trying to do a pad like you're talking about that is infused with silver, and it charged an arm and a leg for this stuff. And we used colloidal silver, and it got rid of the MRSA that doctors thought were never going to go away. How did it work on your husband? You said that.
Well, this is very interesting. You know, Kimberly, you're bringing up good points. You know, the product itself, Silverlawn, is not that expensive. I'll bet it was expensive in the hospital, though they mark up those prices, you know. But it worked literally overnight. And I know we have a short segment, you know, so I want to basically say that his skin had not healed. They did 8 additional surgeries to try vainly to make to find 2 pieces of skin that would heal. And this Silverlawn, this silver product, worked literally overnight. And this is where I became a patient advocate. And then we can talk about autoimmune diseases, but I wanted to give a little background. At this point, do you know that some of the doctors, they started avoiding me? His skin was healing, right? And it had not been healing before. And one doctor came up to me, he goes, you know, we don't think it was what you found that healed his skin.
Of course.
Of course.
Yes.
It's disgusting.
I was like, well, you know, I was stunned. So I said, well, what do you think it was? You know, very innocently. And he said, well, we think it was the vancomycin, and that, by the way, Kimberly and Dr. Bonatti and Ethan, that was what he had been taking. My husband had been on vancomycin infusions for 6 weeks, and I said that. I said, but he's been on vancomycin for 6 weeks, and the doctor said the words that turned me into a patient advocate. He said, vancomycin is like that. It kicks in.
I think vancomycin, if you take it, and I feel bad if I'm mistaken about this, that reminds me again of my grandfather. They did vancomycin, and I think he ended up getting C. diff, which is a whole other beast.
You have a good memory.
Yeah.
You know, Dr. Bonatti, isn't it true that repeated antibiotics can lead to C. diff, and that's what patients get all the time in the hospital?
Yeah, absolutely. And also that type of antibiotic will produce some damage on the kidney, and sometimes those antibiotics can produce some damage on the liver. So they need to be testing constantly to be sure that you're not going to create the kidney failure.
You know what? This is the point of my book of Honest Medicine is to use less invasive, less toxic treatments whenever possible. And, you know, I got a big message when the doctors didn't want to believe that it was the Silverlawn. They wanted to believe it was the more toxic, obviously, as you pointed out, Dr. Bonatti, the more toxic vancomycin. And so, you know, my husband lived for 3.5 more years, very disabled because of the surgeries, the extra surgeries that they had done. But I vowed that I was going to find other treatments like Silverlawn that people have got to know about.
Well, Julia, you have several in the book that you mentioned in Honest Medicine that apparently are not only effective, but a lot of doctors either aren't aware of them or they don't recommend them. Why is that?
You're absolutely right, Ethan. That's what my passion is about. They don't recommend them, you know, and I know that you can guess why. They're not taught about them by the pharmaceutical companies that do all their, quote, education.
They can't yield
kickbacks.
Exactly. They don't get them.
You you know what? It's such a sad state of affairs, and especially the one that I'm here to talk about because it's National Autoimmune Disease Awareness Month.
Sure.
It's called low-dose naltrexone, and I hope people will want to learn more about it, and I tell the whole story about it in my book, In Honest Medicine.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a very, very low dose and a very inexpensive, but a low dose of a treatment that was FDA approved. Are you ready for this? In 1984, at a high dose for another use entirely. Okay. And this very creative doctor, Dr. Bernard Bahari, figured out that if you lowered the dose to almost minuscule proportions, to 3 milligrams, remember it was FDA approved at 50, if you lowered it to 3 to 4 milligrams, it was excellent for autoimmune diseases. And autoimmune diseases, I don't know if your audience knows that there are over 100 of them.
Yeah, the terrible 100, they call it.
Yes, the terrible 100.
What are some of them?
Some of them are multiple sclerosis, lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, Crohn's disease, oh my God, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, myasthenia gravis. And you know what? A lot of other diseases, including Parkinson's, are now being found to have an autoimmune component. And so we're talking about a very low dose, inexpensive, are you ready for this? Maybe $1 a day or less treatment that would help a lot of people. And I hope that a lot of your listeners, I don't hope they have autoimmune diseases, but I hope that those who do. And by the way, if of course I couldn't reel off the whole 100, and I wouldn't even know them anyway. But they know, most of people who have autoimmune diseases know they've got an autoimmune disease. Oh. And this treatment, low-dose naltrexone, which, again, I don't get a dime for promoting, it's very, very, it has wonderful results.
Okay.
Not for everyone.
Let me ask, though, what are some of the side effects and how do they compare to what doctors are prescribing nowadays? And if a patient needs those things and they're not being prescribed by the doctor, how does one inform themselves or find these items so they can help themselves?
Okay, this is a several questions, but
I know.
I would love to answer them.
Sure.
Low dose naltrexone, what kinds of side effects does it have? Very little. At high doses, for what it was FDA approved for drug addiction, it had a lot of side effects. But at this very low dose that Dr. Bahari discovered, its only side effect, and only for a small minority of people, is vivid dreams. And by the way, my mom takes it. She's 99 now. She's turning 99, and she does take it. And when she first started taking it, she goes, "Oh, I'm just enjoying my dreams so much."
Julia, let me tell you one thing that you need to do a little research on it is tetracycline. Tetracycline was removed from the market by the drug pharmacies. Yeah, no, not by FDA, by the pharmaceutical companies, because it's very inexpensive. If you have gastritis or you have stomach ulcers, and you use 10 days of tetracycline, that is going to remove totally the problem of your ulcers. And the situation is they were so effective that they never market in that direction, and they remove from the market, and they use, and the cost will be maybe $5 for the investment in the product for 10 days. Well, they removed from the market. You cannot find tetracycline in the market today, but they combine with another drug, and they hide the name of tetracycline, and the same product costs hundreds of dollars.
But it has worse side effects.
Wow. And it has side effects and the whole thing. Tetracycline is an incredible product for people who has gastritis, people who has acidic problems on the stomach, or people who has ulcers.
Dr. Bonati, I'm going out on a limb here, but wasn't that a Dr. Marshall who discovered that?
You got me. I don't know.
I believe it was. was because he's one of my heroes.
Where's Google when you need it?
I know.
Well, let me go and Google and I'll tell you.
Julia Shopik, unfortunately, we are out of time, and I could continue this discussion with you for hours because it sounds like...
Kimberly, I hope you guys will invite me back because there's so much to talk about.
We would love
enjoyed
to.
it so much.
We would love to. Again, Julia Shopik, award-winning blogger on healthcare and healing, and also author of the best-selling book, Honest Medicine, Effective, Time-Tested, Inexpensive Treatment for Life-Threatening Diseases. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Loved being
with us.
Thanks,
Thank you
Julia.
for being an advocate, too.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, I really enjoyed her.
She's great.
It's so important to be an advocate, not only for yourself, but your loved ones. You are listening to American Medicine Today. Make sure you stay tuned, because on the flip side of the break, we have a follow-up to, last Thursday's GOP debate. A lot to discuss. Stay tuned.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years. And it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results. No pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already, I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now. I can garden. I can cook. And I'm really thrilled. The outcome's been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact, I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonati and your host, Kimberly Brumell.
You're still listening to American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Brumell, joined by Ethan Euchre.
Happy to be here.
Jeff Wagstaff.
Thank you for having me.
Senior fellow. I haven't said that one in a long time. And world-renowned orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Alfred Bonati of the Bonati Spine Institute.
Hi, senior fella.
All right. Well, we know we got you all riled up last week.
Well, every week, but
I know, but especially last week with all the comments about, Mitt Romney trashing Donald Trump, and then all the back and forth insults that were slung at last week's GOP debate. Why don't we start there?
When Doc came in, he was hot. Still, a week later, he's still hot.
Well, actually, he kind of gave me some grief. He's like, "Why didn't you have the clip of Romney kissing Trump's butt?" I'm like, "I didn't know you wanted that clip, so I didn't pull it."
Guess what? I was real good. I found it.
Kimberly found it.
Found it.
So now we're gonna play it.
We play it.
Maybe.
Donald Trump has shown an extraordinary ability to understand how our economy works, to create jobs for the American people. He's done it here in Nevada. He's done it across the country. He understands that our economy is facing threats from abroad. He's one of the few people who stood up and said, you know what, China has been cheating. They've taken jobs from Americans. They haven't played fair. We have to have a president who will stand up to cheaters. We believe in free trade and free enterprise, but we don't believe in allowing people to cheat day in and day out. You didn't rightly have the balls to put country.
So,
goes right into.
And hello.
Okay.
And we will cut there. But,
Well, the point being, and why you wanted to hear that, Doc, is because Romney last week, prior to the GOP debate, just came out and trashed the heck out of Trump and basically told everybody, the public included, not to put Trump in office. Don't make him the nominee. Vote for anybody other than Trump. And we'll start from there.
Well, I hate hypocrisy. This is one of the things that I always admire in Trump. He is a common sense individual. When we talk about medicine, he wants to derail Obamacare. We know that Obamacare is not really an idea to protect and defend the people who has insurance problems. It's just the fact of a socialistic medicine to control population. That is what Obamacare is. They don't care if you're sick or you're not. The truth is they want to control the population, and that's why the premiums of the Obamacare are enormous today, and the people is questioning themselves why I went to this type of an insurance. Now, he talked about insurance companies, and they said, Rubio was saying that his plan is not well thought, it's not presented right. But that shows you that the individual who's criticizing Trump doesn't understand business. If you don't understand business, you think that what he's saying is not good, is not good enough. But the problem is, if you manage business, competition is the most important thing to make a business a real business. So the ones that they are poorly managed, or the ones that they have governmental support and things like that, they disappear because they cannot survive a competition. So the government wants to have a monopoly, and Trump wants business. And if you have business, you need to have competition. If the insurance companies will compete in the United States all over the country, well, you will find an insurance in Alaska that's more cheaper than the one in Florida. You will be now selecting that insurance. And when you do that, you will have the same service or better service because that company is going to be competing for you to be able to get you as a client. Now, when they talk about the pharmaceutics, he wants competition again. The only thing that he said is we need to compete. We need to make the pharmaceutical products better. If you do that, then something is going to be cheaper than the other one. Right now, it's amazing. In my own practice, you go and you buy a product, and the product comes in a big bottle.
Right.
You use a little bit of that bottle, and then you need to discard it because by law you need to throw that in the garbage can. They can have small bottles. And then in that way, you use a small amount of product. But the insurance companies, the pharmaceutical companies, they don't want that. They want the investment on the big bottle. So this is what he's suggesting. And the people is not listening to that. The other thing is, in the economy, somebody who managed $10 billion, are you going to tell me that Rubio, who has problems with his credit card, he cannot even manage his salary right?
Well, he can't even show up on time to vote.
Well, that's even worse.
Exactly.
He cannot manage his salary. So this is going to be the guy who's going to be managing the American economy? Are we going crazy with this? Okay, now, you talk about the military. The only thing that he's saying is, I'm going to give to my soldiers the responsibility to die for the country. But you know something? I'm going to back them up with the best instrumentation so they can fight right. Are you telling me that that is immoral and ethical? This is common sense. Everybody will do that. Now, do you want to have a medicine in the United States that is a socialized medicine? Why don't you go and get VA attention? Go there.
See what it's like there, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's terrible.
You know, the other thing is when Rubio keeps mentioning, you know, Trump University and the big scandal, he fails to mention that he was involved in an even bigger scandal with the university that did so much more to defraud people than what he's alleging to with Trump University. But somehow the media outlets have failed to follow up on that. Look it up. Rubio University supporting connections. Look it up. It's right out there, and it's far more scathing than anything Rubio's throwing out there about Trump.
Well, that's the sad thing, is that they all have a ton of, no matter what side, who you're talking to, which politician it is, they're all, for the most part, pretty corrupt. They all have failures in their past.
Yeah, but one thing that you need to understand, somebody who is managing an economy of $10 billion, let me tell you this, will have thousands of failures before hit 100. Okay,
Well, yeah.
So if to hit a home run, you need to be an individual who tests a lot of different business.
Yeah.
Okay, and every business that he tests and that fail, there are thousands of other business that he succeed. So
Well,
that's
there's
why
always
he
gonna be-
has this economy like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, this is certainly a topic we could continue talking about. That about wraps things up here on American Medicine Today. If you or someone you know suffers with massive migraines, fibromyalgia, RSD, whiplash, sciatica, herniated disc, slip discs, or bulged nerve, reach out to the Bonati Spine Institute. They can help you achieve true pain resolve. 855-267-0483 or visit Bonati.com. Tweet at Dr. Bonati using hashtag American Medicine Today, and check your local listings to find when the show airs on Saturday. Bye-bye.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years. And it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results. No pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already, I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now, I can garden, I can cook, and I'm really thrilled. The outcome has been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact, I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.